Why did pilgrims arriving in America resist bathing? Well, let's find out. This is History Rediscovered. Remember to support our channel, please subscribe. Who were the Pilgrims? The Pilgrims were the people who came to America from England and founded the Plymouth colony in 1620. The Pilgrims came to America in search of religious freedom. At the time, England required its citizens to belong to the Church of England. The Pilgrims left England because they were being badly treated and killed for what they believed in. People wanted to practice their religious beliefs freely, and so many fled to the Netherlands, where laws were more flexible. After several years there, fearing the loss of their native language and cultural heritage, they decided to set out for the New World and build a new life. With the help of the Virginia Company's financing, the Pilgrims boarded the Mayflower in 1620 and sailed to the Americas. The Pilgrims had a very hard time the first year after they arrived, and over half of them died. The Native Americans already living in the area helped them, and, in the fall of 1621, the Pilgrims celebrated their first successful harvest. The American holiday Thanksgiving is a celebration remembering this first harvest. Frequent bathing is harmful to health. 17th century Pilgrims. Early American colonists didn't believe that bathing was necessary for proper hygiene. They thought that other actions, such as frequently changing their underwear, did. Native American tales claim that when the Mayflower Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth in the early 17th century, they didn't smell so well. These Europeans didn't take regular baths like the Wampanoag did. According to a 1965 biography, a Patuxet survivor named Tisquantum, or Squanto, even attempted and failed to persuade them to begin washing themselves. Religious superstition. People used to base their decisions on religious traditions and superstitions, just like they did with many other beliefs and ideals from centuries before. During the 17th century, people from all social and economic groups in Europe made the transition from using public bathhouses to taking only a few showers a year. Bathhouses were highly common during the Middle Ages, but because they encouraged sexual liberation, they lost favor. The conservative attitudes of the Puritans and Roman Catholics didn't agree well with this sexual freedom. According to W. Peter Ward, Professor Emeritus of History at the University of British Columbia and author of the recently released book The Clean Body, A Modern History, bathing as you and I know it did not become common among Western Europeans until the latter half of the 18th century. People from all social classes experienced this. In his whole life, French King Louis XIV is rumored to have only taken 3 baths. According to Ward, both the wealthy and the poor may wash their faces and hands every day or once a week, but nearly no one in Western Europe washes their entire body on a regular basis. It's possible that the separatist Pilgrims, and the Puritans who came after them believed that stripping off all of their clothing to immerse one's entire body in water was improper and unhealthy. Nowhere in the Western world was the concept of cleanliness strongly related to water in the 17th century, according to Ward. Although there were bathhouses in the colonies, they weren't used for modern-day bathing. Instead, bathhouses were viewed as either a location where wealthy people might unwind or as a form of medicinal remedy. The colony of Virginia's royal governor used his baths to cool off in the 1770s on a sweltering day. Even kings resisted water. What about the few baths Louis XIV took? They were prescribed by a physician to treat his seizures. According to Ward, the 17th century's conception of cleanliness had more to do with what we now refer to as undergarments than anything else. By regularly changing the white linens worn beneath their garments, colonists kept themselves clean. According to this way of thinking, the cleaner and whiter the linens, the cleaner the person. It was believed that the body was kept clean by the linen underwear. Because it was believed that the underwear itself was the cleaning agent for the body, absorbing perspiration, grime, and other bodily impurities, he explains. To show how clean and morally upright the person wearing them was, these linens were intended to be slightly visible around the collar. According to Kathleen M. Brown, a history professor at the University of Pennsylvania and author of the book Filthy Bodies, Cleanliness in Early America, a Puritan Minister's distinctive exhibition of white linen distinguished him as not just a man of God but also a gentleman. No gentleman wearing white linen at the neck could omit to change it often in an era without frequent full-body bathing, since a collar worn for too long would expose his skin's effusions to the public. Puritans also believed that maintaining clean bedclothes was a means to maintain clean bodies. Going to bed in one's outer clothing was regarded as indecent and unsanitary. A colonist in Maine claimed in a letter dated 1639 that his maid was sluttish for going bed with her cloth and stockings and dirtying her bedclothes. The plague and diseases. When the plague struck, public bathing also lost favor. This gave rise to the notion that drowning was harmful to the body. Linen and Laundry, 2015. Together with dampness, extreme temperatures were also believed to be bad for the health. Doctors encouraged sweating because they thought it was the body getting rid of pollutants, linen and laundry, 2015. In addition, it was thought that the toxins might be able to return to the body and enter the bloodstream through the skin, leading to illness and even death. When it came to hygiene, the native Indians the colonists encountered had distinct priorities. The majority of Native Americans had free baths in rivers and streams, much like the Wampanoag. Also, they believed it was disgusting for Europeans to carry handkerchiefs filled with their own phlegm around. Also, most Native Americans had far better dental health than most Europeans did. Native Americans used a number of techniques to clean their mouths, such as brushing their teeth with chew sticks made of wood, chewing on fresh herbs like mint to freshen their breath, and polishing their teeth with charcoal. The majority of European immigrants, on the other hand, might not have brushed their teeth at all and may have consumed foods that were generally poorer for their dental health. The colonists' poor hygiene caused the Native Americans they encountered more than simply a stinking annoyance. Also, it constituted a very real risk. Unwashed immigrants transmitted microorganisms to which Native Americans were uninitiated and lacked immunity. Before the Pilgrims landed in 1620, historians believe that more than 90% of the Native Americans in coastal New England had died from European diseases. Millions more people will die from diseases in Europe during the following few decades. Malady from abroad. Black rats carrying leptospirosis were brought here by the Pilgrims aboard their ships. This led to bodily pains, nosebleeds, and fever. The rats would introduce their bacteria into the fresh water the Native Americans used for bathing and hunting. It is well known that the Pilgrims infected the Native Americans with a disease that resulted to a huge number of deaths. Regrettably, the Pilgrims were unaware that they had actually caused a large number of deaths. On their journeys to their new home, the Pilgrims also lost a lot of their own people. Yet, both teams persisted and undoubtedly gained a lot from one another. Science is now on our side as we learn how to keep our bodies disease-free and healthy. Evidence-based practice is used in nursing to develop policies and direct operations. Practices from the past that were successful are now considered norms, and failures have taught us to keep trying and figure out the best course of action. Better methods of illness treatment and prevention are continually being developed in medicine. How have you dealt with patients who don't maintain good hygiene?